In studio to explore the who, the how, the when of it all, because this is a different Carolina Panthers team. We've been saying it all season long. Sort of felt like we were at a tipping point of, okay, really nice start to the season, but let's see down this stretch run. We saw something here, Jonathan Jones, on Sunday.
Which we have seen before. We saw it against the Green Bay Packers a couple of weeks ago. The thing with the Panthers has been that they have not been consistent. They've been win-loss, I think since like week 7 or so. And so every time that you think that maybe you have the Panthers figured out, they're still figuring themselves out. And that's okay. How many times have I sat here and I've said, look, to make the playoffs, that is icing on this season for Carolina that really just needed to get 6-7 wins to show that they were trending in the right direction in the post-Cam Newton years. I'm not talking about the second time Cam Newton came back. I'm talking about like after Cam Newton, the first time after he left, because they've been wandering the NFL wilderness ever since then. To get this victory, and look, understand this is not a team that has a lot of top 100 players. They got Derek Brown, they got J.C. Horn, who didn't play today. And then after that, going into the season, how many top 100 players were you saying for Carolina? You didn't know about Tedero McMillan just yet. We didn't know about Bryce Young just yet. The team wasn't ready to pay Ike Ekwonu at left tackle. But look at what they have been able to accomplish so far this season, getting victories over the Packers, now over the Rams. Tough slate ahead, right? Because they still have Seattle, and they still have 2 games against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that will determine the NFC South. But these Carolina Panthers right here, they may be just 4 games away from hosting a playoff game this postseason.
It is a result that makes the South all the more interesting. It also adds some intrigue to the West and to the 1 seed. In turn, with this loss by LA, Chicago, for the time being, does represent the top spot in the NFC. Mac, we're looking at a different team once again here in Carolina. But I want to shift the focus, shed the light here on LA, what they failed to do in this game. Looked like early on, after they picked Stafford off twice, maybe defense. We pick up the slack today. We do what we do, but they give up 30-plus points. What did you see
24,
defensively?
remember, it was a defensive touchdown.
Defensive touchdown. You know, he's got it. They all count on the scoreboard.
They all count
on the scoreboard. 31 on the scoreboard, 24 for the defense. But where did LA's defense come up short today?
Situational football. And hats off to Coach Canales and his offensive staff, because they were very, very aggressive in those said moments. When you look at the Rams, what they've done so far this season was harass opposing quarterbacks. Well, Bryce Young made things difficult for the Los Angeles Rams, not to mention his mindset attacking the third-level guys, the guys in the secondary. 2 fourth-down calls by Dave Canales. 4th and 3, 4th and 2. They scored touchdowns on those 2 opportunities. That's something that you cannot tolerate if you're the Los Angeles Rams against the Carolina Panthers or against the St. Petersburg Panthers. It doesn't matter who you're playing against. In 4th down situations, you cannot give up touchdowns.
And it was on Forbes, who's been playing really well this season.
Yes, both touchdowns, unfortunately, were on Emmanuel Forbes. And Tedero McMillan and Coker, these young pass catchers for Bryce Young, they have really matured masterfully. And look at what Bryce Young did today. He outperformed the MVP lead candidate in Matthew Stafford. 206 yards. He didn't blow you away with his numbers, but the efficiency. Completed 75% of his passes.
In the rain.
3 touchdowns in the rain. This is a guy that grew mightily before our eyes today.
It's sort of the performance we've been looking for, because we saw that franchise record, but we've also seen those 140 yards at 50% completion performances all too often from Bryce Young. This is that middle of the road, did what was required. How important were the 2 interceptions early on off Stafford, a guy that hasn't given him up at all this season, 2 in total, throws 2 in 2 drives to really breathe some belief into Carolina's effort?
Honestly, that was the biggest difference maker in this ball game, just because Carolina was able to not turn over the football and take the ball away 3 times from probably the highest scoring offense in the league. You know, so that's where it started from with the Carolina Panthers, taking away the ball and Bryce Young being situational smart in those situations. Like on that 3rd down, the old Carolina Panthers probably would have ran the football, but they put the ball in Bryce Young's hands so he could make the right decision, and that he did, and help his team get the 1st down and ultimately win the ball game.
And, JJ, you said something earlier about the growth with Carolina. Outside of week 1 and week 2, we have yet to see this team lose back-to-back ball games. Remember, they lost week 1 and week 2. Since then, when they've stumbled or taken an L, that next week they come out firing regardless who they're playing against. Remember, last Monday, 20-9 on the road against San Francisco. Looked anemic on either side of the football field. But in today's matchup, as a double-digit underdog, the second time they took care of their business. This is a team, man, they're straddling the fence of being a very, very good team, man, and they're very, very scrappy as well.
Wins over the Rams, wins over the Packers. Jonathan Jones, that's got to really build some belief in a team for this stretch run, to know that no matter who it is, you give us a full week of preparation, we're going to come out there and not just be competitive, but go win some serious football games.
Yeah, they're also down Trayvon Merrick, who, he was suspended for this game after the actions that he did against the San Francisco 49ers. This is, if you go back a couple weeks ago, because we want to stay relevant and also want to say exactly what we said a few weeks ago. We said, they got the Rams, they got the Niners, they got the Seahawks, they got 2 Bucs games. We're like, all right, it'll be nice if they can finish around 500. But now, after beating the Rams, right, losing by 11 points to the Niners, Monday Night Football out in San Francisco, okay, but would we be surprised if they beat Seattle? I wouldn't be surprised. I may still take Seattle, but I won't be surprised if Carolina wins. Can they split with Tampa? And then let's see what Tampa and the injured Baker Mayfields ultimately do. I'm telling you, this is a team that is exceeding expectations. We talk about a Chicago Bears team that has learned how to win. The Carolina Panthers are currently learning how to win, and they're doing it much to the chagrin of the LA Rams.
Yeah, some folks ready to hit the eject button early on the quarterback and on the head coach, but here they are above 500 this late in the season, and 2 big ones coming up with Tampa Bay to decide a division. As for Bryce Young, this is his second game with 3+ passing touchdowns and no interceptions in the last 3 games. He had 1 such game prior in his career.